For me, public space is the zone, the location of human interaction, human expression, and human neighborliness. And what I mean by that is the following. It is the location where people who are very different from each other and some very similar to each other manage to collide, manage to join together in a common space when ordinarily they would not be in the same place. It's a place of expression because people demonstrate who they are by the way they move through the space, the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they interact. And it's a place of neighborliness in the sense that they have to find a way to be with each other. Be with each other in terms of the character of their expression and interaction that maintains a certain distance and closeness. And of course, the people who move through public space at once are either intimate with each other or, if not intimate with each other, complete strangers to each other. There's this full range of types of people who have existing deep relationships and those who've never seen each other before. So therefore, these interactions, these expressions, this neighborliness are a permanent source of potential and actual surprise, which makes moving through public space both an act of practicality and imagination all at once. And ultimately, public space is a place of democratic encounters because all have access to it. I think the central problem of public space is that of its insufficiency. We don't have that many locations where such surprising and unexpected encounters among people who are different from each other happen on a routine basis. Much of our life is organized to reduce friction and conflict, or the potential of friction and conflict. The second kind of problem within public space occurs when, for one reason or another, different types or groups of individuals feel insecure in those spaces. So it may be a public space for group X, but not for group Y, or for persons A and not for persons B. And that's when public space can become not open and democratic, but restricted and partial. Still public, but a restricted and sometimes privileged public. Perhaps paradoxically, a public space I experience and like very much is one that moves. Namely, in New York City, where I live, the public transit system, the underground, the subway system, where on a daily basis I encounter people who are very, very different, not just than I am, but from each other. They come from different neighborhoods, they have different backgrounds. Some are immigrants, some are native, some are white, some are black, some are Latino, some are men, some are women, some are straight, some are gay, etc., etc. And they inhabit reasonably closed space, very closed space. They move in and out by their own logic, and they have an etiquette of interaction, which is an etiquette of neighborliness. In that sense, it's a democratic space. Everyone pays exactly the same to get there, relatively inexpensively, and they can go great distances. This form of public space, by being portable, also makes the city permeable. It moves people not just close to their homes, but far from their homes, close to their work, far from their work, and it is the kind of public space that creates a dynamic of interaction. The central problem of this particular public space is that it inhibits deliberately forms of personal interaction. That is, I do not get on the train and immediately begin a conversation with my neighbor or others. There's a zone of silence attached to this particular kind of interaction. But nonetheless, it's a form of robust, symbolic, public interaction that reproduces the values of urbanism that are values that have to do with diversity, plurality, toleration, and movement. And for that reason, I value it enormously.